everybody. Welcome to another Common Grounds Meet the Members. My name is Jo Stevens and I'm the coordinator of Common Grounds Women in Business Network. Thanks for taking the time to check in and learn more about our amazing Common Grounds members. Now, Common Grounds provides coffee meetups for women in business to network and connect with like-minded women in business. Now, we have an amazing, diverse group of women. And one of the reasons why I started this vlog chat was to help these incredible women spread not only what they do, but why they do what they do. Now, today I'm joined by the amazing Sammy. Welcome, Sammy. Would you like to
Hello.
formally introduce yourself and tell us the name of your business?
Oh, okay. Well, my name is Sammy Barnett. Well, my name is actually Samantha, but my brand name's Sammy. I'm going with that now. And my business name is actually Nutrition with Sammy. So
Love
it
that.
has Sammy in the name. And yeah, so that's the name of my business. And I am a clinically trained nutritionist. So I've left my clinic and now I'm traveling around doing entertaining workshops and shows on stages at schools now and having a lot of
Oh, wow.
fun. Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. I love that. But
Yeah.
I totally get you. My name is actually Joanne, but no one calls me Joanne. It's always just Joe now. I like when people call me Joanne,
Yes.
I'm like, who are they talking
I know.
to?
My husband calls me Samantha. He's like, your name's not Sam or Sammy. So whenever we go anywhere, he's like, this is my wife, Samantha. I'm like, what?
Yeah, it's very formal.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. So tell me, I love, like, we're going to dig deeper into that because I love to hear more about how you're going into schools. But what or why did you go into business, like for yourself? Like, how did that start?
Oh gosh, I've been doing things for myself since I was a little girl. I was raised by a single mum, so I kind of was pushed into you got to make your own money if you want to buy yourself things or do things. So when I was 15, 16, I got two jobs. I worked as a clown, believe it or not. And I love the entertaining side. But yeah, I guess my hubby and I we built our own business. I love having that freedom.
Yeah.
And when I became a mom, I've got two teenage boys now, but when I first became a mom, I loved the idea of being able to be at home with them
Yeah.
and so, yeah, finishing my nutrition off and being able to run my own business, it was a little bit more empowering than just running my hubby's business, it is totally my business too. Let's be honest, I built that business.
Absolutely. I mean, I can imagine that. I mean, also because it is like, that you're working together, but I can
Yeah,
understand that way of like wanting to have that, something of your own. So, but what,
yeah.
what was it about nutrition that kind of, why was it that road that you went into?
Yeah, so it's sort of a long path, but at the age of sort of 10 or 11, I started having panic attacks,
Mm.
which turned into panic disorder. And so for me, I was so disconnected from my body. I missed out on a lot of school. Fast forward through the years, I started really getting to know the human body because I had to, it was sink or swim here. I thought I was dying.
Yeah,
And when I
wow.
realized just how much nutrition played a role on our mental health and our gut health and all that sort of stuff, uh, yeah, further down the line, I took the courage and took the plunge to actually get certified in what I do. And yeah, now I get to teach others about how nutrition impacted my life. And yeah, it's very rewarding. So I didn't, when I was at school, it wasn't like I was like, I'm going to eat healthy. I want to be a nutritionist. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't want to do that at all. I wasn't interested. But yeah, fast forward. It's funny where life takes you, isn't it?
I agree. It's just like things that pop in your life, and that kind of happen. So, so it's been obviously sounds like it's just been a journey like for you. It was
Mm.
like, from as a teenager or younger years that growing and realizing, that nutrition and health, gut health and all of that came to that part of it. So then, so that was what led you down the road to, I suppose, become a nutrition. Is that right? Is that like, so it was like,
Yeah,
okay, this is the path?
yeah, that and also for the fact that I was so afraid to have panic attacks again. Like I was kind of running away from myself at first. And so when I realized that nutrition could fix me, I became obsessed with it.
Yeah.
I actually developed an eating disorder around healthy eating.
Oh,
And
wow.
so I love that I am able to give that sort of, shine that light on it as well. Because there's a lot of people that see nutritionists who are obsessed with clean eating and they're afraid to actually, eat.
Yeah.
anything. So being able to look at it from that perspective, I think initially the drive there was to fix myself, but now there's just so many other layers in that.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
So it just sounds very much like, you're passionate about like, what it is you do and like, so, but who kind of like is like your audience? Who is it? You talked a little bit about, like we were talking before about, kids in schools, but, who is it that your target market is? Who is it that you're
Yeah,
supporting
so
with?
when I had my clinic open, I had a busy clinic I run from home. I was sort of attracting myself, so I had a lot of overwhelmed women running businesses, fatigued, adrenals are burnt out, hormonal issues, and I realized like I did, I did courses in emotion technique and
Mm,
NLP, like because there's so many layers, right?
yeah.
And I got to a point where I realized I'm more than this. Like I've got a background in entertainment and I'm here in a clinic with women constantly crying with me.
Yes.
And even though I was giving them that support and it was very rewarding, it wasn't who I actually was.
Yeah.
So when COVID hit, it was actually a blessing because for me, because I shut my clinic down and it kind of forced me to go out and combine the entertainment side. So the core message of it all is to really slow down and connect with your body so that you're not just eating in a rush, you're switching your digestive system on and able to absorb those nutrients. So even though I'm in schools, I find like my target market, it sort of is pretty much anyone. And I know a lot of people say, oh, you can't, market to everyone because when you market to everyone, you market to no one. But I go into businesses, I go into schools, I'm on stages, and the same core message is to slow down and listen to your body because you can't just be eating whatever you want, all these perfectly proportioned meals if you're not slowing down and chewing your food. And sort of that's sort of at the core of what I'm teaching in all my workshops is, to chew your food.
Well, I mean, absolutely. So, I mean, I
Yeah.
love that kind of thing that you're talking about because, I mean, like there is a whole thing in that, in business about having your target market, going down that
Yeah.
road. But I just from hearing what you're saying, the target market is like getting people to actually slow down, enjoy their food. That's like the general kind of
It's every
population kind of thing. Yeah, that's everyone needs to know that. I love that because
yeah.
I mean, like, going into schools, we need to really get in there with the kids that, that younger
Yeah.
age. But like even as old adults, like we have these learned experience from that age that we take
Yes.
with us. So
Well,
it's trying to
I
relearn
totally
that, isn't it?
when I first started, I was only sort of doing kids nutrition workshops, but I was doing these full digestive experiments and we were blindfolding and using all our senses. And the parents that were coming along to the community ones saw what I was doing and they were learning so much
Yeah.
that they were the ones that approached me and said, can you do this in my workplace? And
Yeah.
I was like, with all the funny props, and I've got a funny poo
They
hat that I
love
wear.
it.
And I took it in and they loved it and they
Yeah.
learned so much. So yeah, I find it sort of the same message, it sort of trickles out into pretty much anyone. I'm planting the seeds for kids,
Yeah.
extending on that with the teenagers, and then the adults are just it's that bringing that self-awareness back in that hang on,
Yeah.
I'm not actually absorbing any nutrients here.
Yeah.
That's why I'm feeling crappy. Yeah.
And I love that. So I love that concept that you're using your entertainment in it because, like, I find that even like, kind of some of the things that I do, I'm a bit out there and a bit, eccentric myself. But I think that, I love that. But bringing that in, that's your point of difference. Like, but that helps
Yeah.
it get to that level where it needs to go. Is that what you're finding as well? Because then
Yeah,
people can really
definitely.
relax.
Absolutely. I thought, like, when I decided I'm going to blend my entertainment background together with nutrition, and I had a look around to see who was doing that, and there wasn't that many. And so I just put on a Pikachu outfit and I started, doing some YouTube videos talking about collecting nutrients and all the different kinds of nutrients. You got to catch them all, right?
Yeah.
And then I started talking about, Minecraft and minerals in the body, and it was landing for my kids. So I
Yeah.
thought I put it out into the world, and it really started working. I found like if you can use so many metaphors and then, just entertaining. And I mean, like, it's obviously working because Jamie Oliver and the Wiggles have seen what I'm doing, and that, like, in itself is a
Oh
certificate.
my
Like that.
gosh, yes.
Yeah. So I'm like, I must be doing something right, and I'm getting a lot of the same bookings in.
Yeah.
So, but at the core of it all is to get that message out there. And the most rewarding part is when at the end of a workshop, I get a bunch of young girls who are about 11 or 12 come up to me and share that they actually have panic attacks and they never ever knew that nutrition could play such a significant, and how they eat,
Yeah.
significant role on their own body with that. So it's just so I get warm and fuzzies with that. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I love that because, like, especially like with young women, it can, you were talking like about those eating disorders and things like that. And you bringing that, like the entertainment in and bringing that awareness of nutrition, you can really change like someone's life, I believe, that you could, because
Yeah.
that's getting them to recognize like, okay, this is normal to have this stress and things in my life. And instead of like, not eating or whatever it is that they do within that, it's like recognizing that food can help me to get rid of those
Yeah.
anxiety that I have. And I love that. That is incredible work, like, really to do and spread
Yeah.
that word. So well done to you. Love
Thank
that.
you. Yes, I have written a book though. I wrote a book about my journey with panic disorder and how it's sort of come up all through my life. It's sort of a shapeshifter anxiety. I think of it as a good thing now. It's a blessing
Yeah.
because it connects you with the outside world, but the way it appears in motherhood or building a business
Yeah.
and the challenges that you're constantly faced. It's just your body trying to protect you in so many different ways. And when you're feeling anxious in your workplace, it's
Mm.
because you're sort of stretching that limit of where you can go, and yeah, your body's like, hang on, we haven't done this before, let's
Yes.
pull back. You're
Yeah.
like,
And
no, no, we got this.
I love that. And actually, just something that you just said there, it's a lifelong thing, lifelong journey, like, with
Yeah,
anxiety, with everything that, just life in itself. So things come up, different things are changing. And then that way, if you can recognize that and understand, like, with the, like bringing the, the proper food, the proper nutrition, it can help
yeah,
you. Like just same as like breathing and like, techniques and mindfulness and that
absolutely.
kind of thing. It's just like going back to like, okay, I can feel this tension, right? What am I actually doing to myself? And that's like looking at my nutrition,
Yeah, the awareness.
Yes.
I call it the anxiety compass. It's like finding your true north, and there's so many different, like, physical things, emotional, hormonal is a big one. They
Yeah.
can all sort of, the chemical, all of them can sort of set off that my body doesn't feel safe, something's not lined up, the sugars are all over the place, or I'm in a new place. Anything can sort of set that body into flight and fight.
Yes,
And that
absolutely.
anxiety feeling comes into play. So yeah, just sort of being aware of what have I done today, or who have I spoken to set that off. And
Yes.
sometimes it's a person.
Yes, that is true. People can trigger us in many different ways. Oh
Yes.
my gosh, it's just can be a nightmare sometimes. All these things happen.
Mhm.
So we talked about like online, but what kind of programs and events like like that you offer? So is it mainly going like into like face to face programs like in the
Yeah, at the
workplace, or is it
moment
other
it
things?
is.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, at the moment it is. It's sort of like still in its, well, I've been doing it for a couple of years now, but it's only been the last few months or so where I've really had the time to start putting a lot of effort into it. So I've just rebranded. I've got my new website up. Really falling into that. When I came to your last Common Grounds, you were doing
Yeah.
a lot of talk around personal branding, and I've really embraced that in my business, which has just taken off. I've got my new little characters, which is great. But at the moment, it's sort of getting my book out there. So I'm getting a lot of speaking gigs. I'm in all of the vacation care programs, community. I was at a local shopping center the other day. So there's a lot of in-person events, but I do online as well. But I find in-persons where you can really sort of get the best of everything. But eventually, we've got online programs getting developed in the background. It's all
Yeah.
happening. But I run two businesses. I've got a construction business I run as well. And I'm a mom of two boys, so there's always plenty of things happening
Absolutely.
in the
I
background.
love that. And
I
that's
know.
true. And it's that
I
balance.
mean, I always wonder like how quickly you can build things if it's just you on your own with no distract
Yeah.
horse blinders. But then, that's not the point.
No,
I
I mean
love
that's right. It's,
growth.
you've got to be
Yeah.
realistic, and I think, like, I want to say that to like anybody that's out there that might be listening. We all have these grand and amazing ideas, and we are passionate about what we do. But you also have to recognize, and like you're just saying, that self-awareness of taking care of ourselves and making sure that it's done. We're doing what we love, but in the time frame that is also good for our mental well-being. So I think that
Oh,
that we
absolutely.
all independent, doesn't matter if you're in business or you're in your workplace, you've just got to make sure, okay, this is my boundaries for today, this is what I can and
Yeah.
capable of doing, so that way we don't stress
Oh,
ourselves out.
exactly, you have to. And I have in the past with businesses, I have burned myself out massively. And it was sort of in the baby stages. I find that as the further along you go in business, the more you sort of develop and change stronger in yourself. And when I first sort of started out, a lot of my energy went into comparison and constantly checking
Yeah.
that people liked my posts. And now it's kind of like, you get to a point where you have a mission and a dream and a goal, and that's your task every day. You don't waste time looking at all the other crap. And
Yeah.
it's amazing what you waste your time on,
Oh
right?
my
When you,
gosh, yes,
yeah.
absolutely. I was talking to a friend the other day, just she has a new thing called Jot, just one thing. One thing am I going to do, like, to move my business
I
forward
think,
today? Just one thing today, like, it's going to make me feel better. I think that's probably the best way that we can possibly do that. And like, if
oh,
it's just one thing, it's like nutrition. What am I going to eat to
yes,
fuel my body and be better today? I think
feel
that's,
good.
moving that down
Mm,
the line. Well, I love
yeah.
that, like as you said, like, at the moment you're still working on things in the background, but like you were just saying before, so you have a YouTube channel, like with things on there, or is it like where that?
Yeah, that was sort of where I started a couple of years ago with the YouTube, because I've got family members who are very successful on YouTube, and I thought, oh, I can do this. And then I forgot that I'm a mom with kids, and the successful person is a young, 20-something-year-old guy with no other, parents cook him a meal every night. I'm like, what am I thinking? I mean, it's still possible, but I haven't put anything on it for about a year or so, but that's definitely, it's
All
definitely
good.
there.
Don't worry. No one's
Yeah.
judging
I mean, I've got a
here.
podcast as well, so there's a lot of things. I think you can do too much. I
Yeah.
think you need to focus on a few things, because you spread yourself too thin,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
yeah,
Oh, I
that's
love
where you
that.
burn it out, right?
Well, absolutely, absolutely. But like, we'll make sure that we put all of your information out there so people can reach out and find out where you are so they can
Yeah, I'm everywhere. I'm
where you
everywhere.
next.
I do a lot of free community things through the council. So Ipswich
Oh,
and Logan,
perfect.
Brisbane have reached out, but I'm not sure what's going
Yeah.
on there. But I mean, you'll see me out and about. If you follow me on my socials, Nutrition with Sammy, I often share the tickets that
Oh,
they'll either
nice. Yeah.
charge or yeah. But then most of the other ones I run through private
Yeah.
schools and vacation care
Oh, well,
programs.
but lucky it's good. You never know who might be listening. They might be wanting it in their workplace or at their school. So I love that.
Yeah, a lot of fun. A
Yeah,
lot of fun.
I
Yeah.
love that. Now,
Mm.
I always like to end on what, like, I think we've given lots of pieces of advice today, but what is one piece of advice that you would like to to give out to anybody that might be listening, that might be your go-to, that's helped you get through, in business life, or even in just normal life?
You're gonna like this one. Networking. And I'm not joking. Like some of the biggest, because when I first started out, I was very much at home and trying to do everything through social media. I'm going to be 100% honest. I'm going to say 90% of the jobs that I have gotten have not been through social media. They have been through networking. And some of the biggest jobs I've gotten is because I've gone to a networking event who someone happened to be there who knew someone, because word of mouth is so powerful. And if you're living in your brand and your message and you really feel that, that's going to come
Mm.
out in the room, not so much online, but in the room, people are going to feel that. And they're not even going to, I found some people said to me, I don't even care what you're selling. I just love the energy and the excitement. And I want to work with you. Like that's what you want. You want to really get out there so everyone can see you. And the more, I mean, I've slowed down a lot now, but when I first sort of started networking, I was everywhere, and I was always getting photos with people who had a huge following. So they would tag me in their photos, and then people would go, "Who's that chick in the orange?" Like, and then they, reach out to me. So I love what you do. I think it's very much needed having that networking event.
Absolutely, and it is like there was another lady that I from one of our other networking events was saying the same thing. Like online, we're talking about social media, content creation, all this kind of stuff, and she said that's all great, but
It's
it's
more of a
that
business card.
yeah, it's
Mm.
that's just like only probably like 20 to 30% of your business. The
Yeah.
70% is actually going out and networking and connecting with others, and I
Yeah.
think I totally agree with you there because it's not about like say that you and I might my business might not be for you or your business might not be for me, but once I have that connection with you, and when you were
Yeah.
saying before, I might know someone and they
Yeah.
might
And it
and they
all of a
go,
sudden it pops
yes,
up. Yeah.
absolutely, I know
Like,
someone you can
yeah.
connect with, absolutely, because you build that relationship. It's
Yeah.
that relationship building which is so important in
Mm.
business to do and build
And
those
you can
connections.
disappear if
Yeah,
you're not constantly out in the community. If people aren't online, you'll disappear or
yeah.
you'll get lost in until you obviously build your business up big enough that it's
Yeah.
harder to disappear. But at first,
I mean,
keep
that's true.
showing up.
Absolutely. I
Yeah.
mean, you do
Yeah.
need like, have like, we want so many people. You need a website, you need all that kind of stuff. Yes. But it's the connection building, as you said, it's just meeting you and knowing who you are,
Yeah.
and building that relationship that people like then go, oh, I like this person.
The trust.
What more? Yes, that
Yeah,
trust.
especially with AI now, you just don't know what to believe online
Yeah.
anymore. And when you're in the room with someone, I'm pretty good at sensing people who are just trying to sell to me and people who
Yeah.
genuinely love their business. And that's often the first question I say to people. I say, "Oh, do you love what you do?" And you can pick up straight away someone who does not love what they do.
Absolutely, 100%. Oh, I love
Yeah.
that. Oh, I've really, really enjoyed our chat today. So thank you so much for taking the time. And I'm sure that anyone listening would love that as well. And I'll make sure, Sammy, that I share everything, on your links and things so people can follow you and work out what see where you are. But I truly appreciate your time today. So yeah, so thank you so much, love.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Anytime. See you all later. Have a great day.